Yeah, I don't think there's a fruit that I really dislike in particular, to be honest.
Have you had papayas?
I have.
Good. I know. I just read something about papaya seeds doing something for your gut, and I was like, I'm gonna get a papaya and eat the seeds now.
I really want mango lately.
You got those down there a lot? They're,
They're usually at Walmart, so I figure if I go to Walmart, I can find some mangoes.
yeah, Chicago has a huge Hispanic population, so we have. That's where you go to get your vegetables. If you have a Mexican run farmers uh, grocery store, Mexican grocery store, they'll have the best vegetables and fruit. Always. Anywhere I've lived, they always the Mexican grocery stores have the best vegetables and fruit for a good price. And mangoes is a big deal. So when I go to Hispanic stores, mangoes are a big deal. So I get I get mangoes. I just got some the other day, real a good sale. Anyway,
Yeah. Anyway,
so you wrote something the other day to me. I forgot what I was talking about with Pill Eater. Oh, it was about relationships, and you'd said about I like they just kept saying balance, balance. I agree with you. Of course, you know this because I say that all
because
the time.
he was saying to just go all in on idealization and not recognizing that there is a person there.
Right, and I felt like he was. I thought it was like sarcastic almost. I was like, "Are you fucking with me? Are you trying to be like say something like when people are in Chicago we take joking a little differently." And so I was like, "Are you fucking with me, dude? Like you basically saying this is what I do in my life, which I don't. I'm probably guilty of taking people too seriously." And so yeah, ideally, I love what you wrote back though. It was perfect. That's why I posted it because it was sort of like a joke to me. I thought it was funny because that's why I put at the end. I want to die happy. I would hate to be in that position because you're going to be miserable. I agree with you, but I like that you kept saying balance because, of course, I agree and say that all the time. You have to have balance with things. You know.
Yeah, I just figured that with that, it's just good to have a general balance.
Or imbalance, actually go to the other side. Not the idealization. The ideal person is something that's nice to dream about. You have to deal with reality. So I'd rather deal with like, well, my ideal person doesn't pick their nose, but this one does. I don't know about nose pick. They eat their boogers. I don't like booger eaters. I don't even know if I like booger eaters or not. I think I don't actually. I think my ex was a booger eater. Mm. So yeah, I just like what you wrote there. But I've been thinking a lot about lying and lies and how everyone lies, but no one likes a liar, which is sort of funny because I notice like I hate people who lie to me. I fucking hate it. Um, I like integrity and honesty, but to be honest, I'm not outside of lying to them if if needed. And I think everyone's like that. I don't think that's a unique quality to like Satanists or anything like that. I think it's what humans do to navigate this world.
Yeah,
I love my backdrop. How do you like that?
I think that's a pretty cool. Is that a rug?
It's a old quilt, a very old quilt I have for my. I bought it at a thrift store or something for $1 to use in my fashion art stuff or my fabric art, and just threw it up because it's cold in the winter down here. You know, on this is where my bed is. I'm finally getting comfortable where I live, and I got to move. It's
Hmm.
fucking pissing me off. Anyway, so yeah, I just think about lying and liars, and how people don't like liars, but everyone's a liar, and the idea of lying, like, does that come out of weakness or strategic integrity?
I guess it depends on if the lie is revealed at the end.
Oh, you mean if the liar says I lied?
Or if it's figured out.
I suppose if the liar admits they lie, that's like a high integrity, maybe, like to admit you lie. Like, well, I lied, but you couldn't handle the truth. That thing looked bad on you, and I just didn't want to hurt your feelings before we went out.
Yeah.
But the shoes are always ugly. They're ugly shoes. They're ugliest shoes I've ever seen. I guess that's maybe a lie with integrity.
A lie. Yeah.
But then there's motherfuckers who lie. They just will not stop because they got a knife in their hand, blood on their hands. I could see the knife and the blood. I don't have no knife and blood in my hands. They're like gaslighting. I fucking hate those kind of people. I hate it. I fucking hate them. But I'm not sure I'm better than them. Maybe I just hate being lied. Maybe people just hate being lied to or tricked or having to. Maybe. Damn, my beard's got to get cut. I've been shaving it myself, and now it doesn't look as good. Fuck. I forgot what I was going to say now, seeing my beard weirdness. Fuck. I wish I wouldn't have looked at myself. The fuck was I saying? I want to record this now. I want to rewind this. I forgot what I was saying.
You were talking about compulsive liars.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's just that I hate getting tricked, or this is what I was going to get at. Maybe it's I hate that I have no tolerance for when I have to believe something. Like I don't want to have to believe in someone. Like believe what they're saying, and if I know deep down they're lying, and they lied to me before, then I can't believe them. Not that I want to believe them. I just, but I guess we have to have some sort of belief in this world, don't we? Belief in the person we're talking to, which is irritating.
Well, is the lie to you, or is that actually to themselves?
Well, a lot of times it'd be to me. Let's say they're gaslighting me, like I saw you hand that guy your phone number. I saw you hand that person a slip of paper. I saw it. No, I didn't. They'll say, I saw you hand this paper to this person. What was that about? I didn't hand no paper to no one. And you see it with your eyes. So gaslighting is, for me, a person who has survived that, a dangerous thing, because then you start second guessing what's real. Maybe I didn't see that, even though you did. And when you start second guessing yourself, you become food. You can't be second guessing yourself too much. Not in those kind of ways. I think second guessing is different than being thoughtful. You're saying if it's a lie to you or them? How does someone lie to themselves?
Well, I think people oftentimes think saying it enough makes it the reality.
You think they think that, or you think they just believe it? They believe it so much they say it a lot.
No, because usually people know what they do. I don't think there's any way to not know what you do. Like you just said, it was seen. So if you suck and guess it, then they get the chance to be able to second guess it and rewrite it to their own end.
Oh, that's a different. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but see that one, I saw it. They're lying. I don't know if they're going to keep lying. Do you think you're thinking they say it to believe it, the self belief, like they're going to say it enough to turn it into a reality for themselves? I can see that in some situations, like, oh, I look good in this. I look good in this, and someone says, not real. No, I look good in it. They're lying to themselves, and trying to believe that there's something they're not. Lying to yourself would probably be the worst.
Well, who do you tell more lies to other than yourself?
What?
I mean, I don't think anyone lies to anyone more than they lie to themselves.
That's good. I like that. That's probably true. But in what context are you lying to yourself? Or are you trying to? I guess lying and belief has so much to do with each other. Because it's like, do you believe in yourself, or are you lying to yourself? And where does that? Are you lying to yourself until you have an accomplishment, and then you just believed in yourself? Like I think I can do this. I know I can do this. I can do this. You're lying to yourself, and then it becomes, but it's a lie until you do it. Like when you actually accomplish whatever it is. I'm going to climb this tree, and no one thinks it's possible because you don't have arms. I'm going to climb the tree. so basically people are going to perceive you as lying to yourself until you do it. Then they're like, well, he believed in himself. It's sort of like that thing about you have to be delusional. When you're delusional, inventors or artists are delusional until that delusion becomes reality. Then they're successful, or they people go, that guy's crazy, until what he says turns out to be true, or the idea, the invention manifests. Then they're like, he believed in himself.
So, with that, I think Picasso said it. Art is the lie that tells the truth.
Ooh, I think I've heard. I don't know. Yeah, he say that? I don't know.
Pretty sure it was Picasso that said that.
I'll trust you.
But so is art telling a truth, or is art interpreting lies?
Oh, that's good. Well, wouldn't interpreting lies be a truth?
Well, it depends on what you see in the art in the end result.
No, but if you're interpreting lies, you're interpreting it to get to a truth, I think. But I like what'd you ask now? What was that again? Is art what?
Is art telling the truth, or is art just interpreting lies?
Huh. Boy, this is a wild one. I'm gonna be thinking about this. We have to record this again another time too, because a lot of stuff I just started talking about, like lies and belief, are just sort of just coming to my head.
Well, I mean, a lot of art throughout history has been made on the basis of belief. I mean, all the stained glass images in cathedrals and a lot of religious institutions have used art to sustain belief, whether it's truth or a lie. That's up to you, but for the most part it seems like lying.
Well, are stories lies, or perception? Well, you go back to let's go back to the question you asked first. Let's go. You're going too fast for me. I just woke up. You gotta give me a break. I have no pills in me. I got none of my medication.
I mean, I can slow myself down.
No. Don't let's go back. I'll take care of what I need. Let's go back to that question though. Is art a lie or a true or telling the truth? I would say I would say art is always true. When you're dealing with real art, there's an integrity there. There's a truth. Whether it's true for you or not doesn't really matter, but it's true for the person who made it. I don't think there's a lot of kidding around when people are making artwork. I mean, there is, but the end result is a real raw illustration of someone's internal mind or emotions, and so it's a truth to them. Whether it's a truth to science or not doesn't really matter. Art isn't supposed to be a scientific truth. It's supposed to push scientists to find the truth or to argue about that stuff, maybe, or just to feel what the artwork is. But I don't think lie could ever be art can ever. What did Picasso? What did you say Picasso said? I don't think art could be a lie. Not real one. Not
Art is the lie that tells the truth.
Yeah, I think that you'd have to see art is the lie that tells the truth. I like that. I guess I don't think it's a lie though. I don't think it ever. I wouldn't agree with it. I don't like it actually, because I don't think it ever starts as a lie. I think he might be talking about. He might be projecting his own issues, like he made art to sell. He stuck with what was popular for him, and his early career he painted, like I think really realistic paintings, and when he went to Cubism, and that took. I think continuing to do that throughout your life might become a lie. When you find something that works and you continue to do it because people buy it, because people accept it, that might be the lie that he's talking about. Maybe that is it. I don't know. It's a good question, I guess. But I can't see it in the essence of art, like artists making art. I don't see any lies in there. And I don't know what truth Picasso was saying with his cubism or what his artwork. What is it? For me, it's a lot of abstract, or it's it's where is it? Where's his truth in those paintings?
Well, I think maybe the lie is the abstract and the truth is what you get out of it.
I don't know. I can't see a lie in abstract, actually. I feel like it's the most truthful.
Well, I mean, on another subject that's somewhat tangential, but I guess could be used as an example, like sort of like rights are abstract privileges which are made by ourselves for ourselves. They're kind of like lies to keep us, in check of sorts. And art kind of does something similar where it keeps, you can just, it's better than the whole staring into the flame of knowledge thing, because if you look at a painting long enough, you actually get something out of it. If you look at a candle, you might just hurt your eye.
Where are you going with this?
I think that the lie is the art telling you anything that isn't already there. Because a lot of people say that they get inspired from artworks and pieces of art. I don't think that. I think that art might be a catalyst, not an inspiration, even though that might just be semantics, based on verbiage. But I think that I forgot where I was going with that.
Because I'm taking pictures.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Oh, good. Well, you're going somewhere with it. So let's back up and continue to go at what you're saying. It's interesting what you're trying to say to me about art. See, I think about like art, and art is a lie that tells the truth, and abstract being a lie. And I just like I don't like there. I think maybe it's Rothko. I forget the person, but he painted basically a red canvas, but it's just all these shades of red and stuff. And I know a lot of people like, what is this? It's people get normies get so angry at that. That's not art. They'll say it's just a red canvas. And I don't see anything. It's abstract for certain, but I don't see anything more honest than that painting. Like the painting I've seen it up close, and I see that's one of the things that attracted me to doing more abstract stuff, is like there's nothing more honest than this. Me painting a picture of Ronald McDonald, it might be the lie, but abstracts, I think they're so strong. And you're talking about laws now, putting words to it. Laws are abstract, which I don't think they are. They're very much written into rules. They're black and white.
Rights are what I was saying. It's abstract. Laws are more.
Well, rights are sort of a law. We have rights in our Bill of our Bill of Rights, which is a legal document that we can go to in court and say, these are my human rights. These are my rights.
Depending on how much money you have.
Well, that's true, but still, let's pretend we have all the money in the world right now. I'm getting a devil lock. I like this. I'll keep that going. Maybe not. Anyway. Yeah, well, yeah, legally it's true about the money, and money doesn't seem to be a real thing, but it is. It really, talk about lies or what's perceived as important, real, and what's not. Like I think about that all the time. That blows my mind how we basically came up with the concept of money, and we believe in it. We believe in this concept of money, like exchanging these bills or gold. Like I'm like, where did someone come up with? Why does this have value? Like that really has zero value. What the item has value that you want to buy. The work has value that was put into that, but the money doesn't seem. It's like this fake thing that we chase. We chase this fake thing. Why is gold more value? Why is gold value? Why does everyone want gold? I mean, I don't find gold that great. You know, who forced that value on me? I would if I had a choice whether to buy silver or gold, I would probably choose silver or platinum. I'd choose something chrome. I choose so many things over gold. It has no value to me, but because someone said it has value, I decided, okay, I'll agree with that, and if I find some gold, I'll keep it. It's just a weird thing.
Well, with that, it's kind of like what Jess was talking about in El Paso, of some people asking for when they die, burn all my shit, that sort of thing.
Mm.
Because with
Yeah.
that, I think the honesty is in the art as it comes from the artist's head, but the lie is what you project onto it as your interpretation. Because I think the art might be a catalyst for understanding your own mind better, but it's not anything that wasn't already there. It just was a tool in aiding that.
Oh, you see there with what your example there, I think it's the two examples of two truths that don't always match. But you can have a truth and I can have a truth. I don't think there's any lie there necessarily. I think, like, your truth is that art is ugly. My truth is that art is beautiful. I don't think there's a way to figure out the truth or the ultimate truth in that. And I don't think anyone's lying when they're saying I think this is beautiful. I think this is ugly. I think, or the idea that two things can be true at once. Excuse me for about to yawn. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but lying, when we're talking about lying, like maybe we're going off into abstracts and interpretations and lies. Like, I wonder about lie. Like, I do this thing called Truth Court, and we talk about this stuff all the time. What is the truth? It's been great because there's like a computer scientist who runs it, Robert. Uh, I forget I can't pronounce his last name proper to do it justice, but he's worked on AI for 50 years, and we argue about truth and lies all the time. And he was talking about some philosophy where there's a philosophy out there where you only believe what you can see, touch, and smell in front of you, with another person saying, yes, I see, like, this is a red wall I see in front of me. It doesn't become a truth until the person next to you says, yes, that's a red wall in front of you. Like, you see a red wall, but is it really there? Is it really a red wall? Is it really there? And so you only believe in things that are like corroborated by a person that you see, smell, or touch. And which I find, I like that philosophy a lot. Almost like, I only believe in what I see, here, feel, hear, and touch. I only believe in what hits my senses. Everything outside of that is abstract.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make abstract a lie. I mean, maybe I'm talking more about when I talk about truth and lies. And I know, oh fuck, Robert gave this great book, and I wish I had the name of it right here. I might take some time to look for it real quick. Oh fuck, I'm gonna definitely look at this. Shit, I shouldn't do this now, but it's bothering me. Truth Court. Let's see. Oh wow. Okay, court. Just give me. Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Stop, bro. Okay. Here is the name of the book that we're talking about: Cheating, Deception in War and Magic, Games and Sports, Sex and Religion, Business and Con Games, Politics and Espionage, Art and Science by J. Barton Bauer. Okay. And I wish. The other name of the book is Cheating and Deception. Fucking Robert, where the fuck are you, bro? Okay, let me find. You know, he wrote something about this, and I want to find that because it's a real good. Okay, here we go. Cheating. I'm gonna. Yeah, here we go. Cheating and Deception, a book everyone should read. Okay, remember the last paragraph of his book says it all. This is slightly edited so you can understand it out of context. The first paragraph is from Bell's Theory of Types, but the rest is to remember. And this is from the book How to Get Your Life, or no, Cheating and Deception by J. Bauer Bell, or the other name of the book that I gave. It has two names. Remember, wandering about a head full of payoffs and patterns, characteristics of deceit, dazzling and decoying, and the odd deception loop. Remember, it is no better to be cheated. It is no better to be cheated than to cheat, and less fun. No one promised life would be fair. Okay, let me read that again. It is no better to be cheated than to cheat, and less fun. Number two, no one promised life would be fair. Number three, believers in the free lunch suffer from indigestion. Number four, I fucking wish I could read that, but Machiavelli, after the fact, advice is useless. Or why didn't someone tell me? Unfortunately, in cheating, the mind. Oh, I can't fucking. Oh, you motherfuckers. Half the article's blocked off. All right, I'm in. What, become a member? I am a member. Hey, fuck all of this. Now I'm fucking pissed off. I go to all this link. Let me see if it's in this book. Well, that fucked everything up. I can't. Whatever. I fuck it. I'm gonna give up on this. It totally fucked me up now. The book summarizes the type of cheating and deception Bauer describes. Anyway, it's a great book on this whole concept of stuff. I wish I could find what I was looking for now. In the pursuit of love and money. Yeah. Damn. Well, that threw everything off. I have to find that book and send it to you. But there was this list of things at the end of this article that he sent, and I wanted, it was good. Talks about lying. But I guess what I'm talking about is a malicious lie, or a lie to gain love or money. When we talk about like people hating liars, I think that's where people are there. Let me ask you this: are there lies that you would accept versus lies you would be angry at someone for?
I like lies if it ends up being a funny lie.
Against you?
Yeah, like if it's like some sort of thing and in the end it winds up to be something funny.
Oh, that feels like it's almost like a trick. Someone tricked you.
Yeah.
But see, no one likes a liar. And so
Then I
what?
guess I can understand, even if I don't particularly like it. I guess I can understand someone lying for their own benefit. I don't like it, but I understand.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. I love that. That's my life. I sort of can hang out with people I know are liars, cheats, criminals, because I appreciate it. I appreciate lies for what they are. And it's about survival a lot of times. It's about elevating your life. It's about getting what you want. So I appreciate lies and I appreciate liars. I just don't want to be lied to. And it's like funny, like lies for love and money are the ones that are going to create enemies. Like one thing I'm trying to date, right? I date, and it's hard because I have to believe. I have to believe what this other person's saying, even though my experience with love and life has been like, well, you can't really believe anything someone's saying. That's the worst part about love. You gotta believe in a person, knowing that this person is probably lying to you a high percentage of the time you're together because they want to stay together. And truth could fuck that up. So they lie based on your feelings or their paranoia about how you might feel about things. You know, it just seems like just a minefield full of lies in love or business that you have to navigate. And it's like it has so much to do with belief that I hate it. I have to believe someone is uh, wanting to be affectionate to me or love me. I have to believe them, or I have to believe they're maliciously, but they are, because most people are attracted to me based on what I do, what I've done. Like, oh, this person puts out books. Oh, this person does this, or this person has done this. This person is this. So people they're attracted to me for that, but not for who I am inside. They don't know me. If that makes sense.
It does.
So it's that lie for love that for me it feels like it's very unacceptable. Like I don't like. I just want, if I'm gonna have a relationship, I want truth in that relationship. Not. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that I don't like liars, but I know I'll lie, and that I get perplexed by the whole thing. Uh, I guess you could look at your dogs and say, a lot of times people say the dog does those certain things because it's watched you and it's sort of mimicking you. But dogs don't naturally do this or this or this or this. They mimic what they're around. So is lying adapting to your situation and like sort of adapt and overcome?
In a sense, it is.
You think?
Well, depending on the situation and what exactly got you into it. Because I think most people would lie to save their own life.
Oh yeah.
Most people would probably lie to save the life of someone that was really close to them. Most people would probably. It's sort of like. Did you see that debate with Jordan Peterson the other day?
No, I saw clips. I think I know what you're talking about, where they talk about Christianity or something like that.
They were talking about like if you were hiding Jews in your house in Nazi Germany, what would you like give them away, or would you lie? Like if you had Jewish friends that you were hiding from the Nazis, would you hide them or would you lie to save themselves and you? Because if you were caught hiding them, you would also be killed.
Right. That's what I was thinking just now. I was like, of course I would stick to the. I wouldn't call it a lie. I'd stick to the story.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I think there can be lies that are beneficial. I think most lying, I think, is done in an attempt to save someone's own skin in some way. Just it depends on whether or not they're saving themselves from their own actions or something beyond them. Because I think it's malicious once it becomes to save from their own actions. because it's evading responsibility.
Say that again.
I think lying becomes malicious because a lot of it, whenever it's done to save someone from their own actions, it's to evade responsibility. Like with what you were talking about earlier, with, you see someone do something, except, or there's enough evidence of them doing that thing, except they'll just try and lie to save their own responsibility.
What about it?
Well, I think that's when it becomes malicious, is whenever the lie is to evade responsibility.
I think it would be malicious when you lied up before that. But whatever situation you're in, if you're lying to avoid responsibility, maybe that's a good lie. I think lying is like the lies I'm talking about is to how to get my shit. Like, oh, I'm going to pay you. I'll pay you this for this, but they don't pay you, and they take the item, and they're like, this motherfucker owes me for that shit I gave. I gave him this whatever it was, and they lied to me, and they got my gold. They told me they'd pay me for that gold, and they're not paying me. And that they lied up front to get the gold out of your hands. Or love, they're lying to you to get into your world. Like, oh, I love you, and love. I forgot who said this. Love is the ultimate in control. The word love is the easiest way to control someone. Tell them that you love them, and that's devastating to me because I want to believe in love. But I'm from Chicago, and I see enough. I know enough hoes, straight up real street walking hoes, and I say that with respect. When I say hoe, that they'll tell a motherfucker they love them all day long until their bank account's cleaned out. When they no longer have anything to give them, they no longer love them. But did they ever love them? Probably not. They just loved the money. They loved what they were getting. They loved how they were being treated. So it's like, what exactly do you love?
I think at a certain point it becomes sort of a compulsion.
Yeah, I think you might be right with some people. Some people are just weak like that. Yeah, I remember asking some young lady, so what do you love about me? And they're like, because you're so much like me. And I'm like, you basically said that had nothing to do with me. That had everything to do with them. So they were telling me about their what?
That just makes me think of the Seinfeld bit where it's like, I can't marry this person because they're myself. I hate myself.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought some stuff like that too. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how much I love myself. I can't even understand this one. If you're like me, how am I liking you? And so, yeah, I don't know. Lies in love and war, lies in love and money. Those are, I think, could be malicious. And then you're right. Maybe some become a medical condition like compulsive. They just lie through everything, which I know plenty of people. I know plenty of people that are like that. They compulsively lie. I think I compulsively lied when I was younger, but it was more out of survival.
I think a lot of the times people that are compulsive liars grow out of things that where they had to be, and then they just never learned how to stop.
Yeah. I definitely learned how to stop. I have an integrity, but I think a lot of mine was adapting and overcoming. Like, I definitely don't have a need to lie. In my old age, I couldn't comprehend an older person being that compulsive liar because it's like, what the fuck, where's your life? Like for me, I'm seriously true. I'm very honest about my opinions, and I'm very honest about myself, what I think of myself and stuff. So it's like, and maybe I'm too harsh on those. Maybe those I'm too harsh on myself or others, but I'm not lying. I couldn't imagine living a life of being a compulsive liar, because when do you start living your life? If you're living in just a sea of lies, you've never really lived a life. You're living everyone else's, what everyone else wants to hear versus what you want to say. And that's my problem with liars more than anything. Well, not more than anything. I think the highest thing is that I have to believe someone to deal with them. I think LeVay talks about, you have to have a certain amount of trust to work with people. There has to be trust. There has to be honesty in certain regards. And I think that's true. But I can't respect people who compulsively lie. Like I said, I was dating someone that was compulsively lying with just about every fucking thing. And I was just like, felt like it was sad or pathetic. Like, it was like, when does your life start? Because you're just saying what people want to hear, not what you want to say. And for me, I like to say what I want to say. I don't want to say what you want to hear. Though maybe, like, and I certainly wouldn't lie to someone at this point. I just don't have it in me anymore to get what I want. I'm probably not going to do that. I just don't want it. Then if I got to lie to get it, I don't want it. I I'm pretty solid in being the person I am, and I have an integrity, and I mean, not that I wouldn't lie, but I have no need to lie about most of your life. If you're living a lie, you never lived. You just took up space. I choose to get the most out of my life, and I think integrity and honesty is one of those levels. When you can do that, you get the most out of life. You're able to get away from people that, not everyone can handle integrity or honesty. So when you're that kind of person, other people move away from you quicker, and I like that. I find honesty is something that repels people, and lies are what can attract people. You can attract people with lies, but you will repel them with truth. And so I like to repel people, and so, but I do notice that, like, when I'm in love, I will be delusional. That's not to say I'm lying, but I'll believe in, well, we can, I get with people I want to make the world with. I want to be creative partners with them. So I start, we'll make a million at this, say something like that. Maybe, we can really take this idea and go with it. And that's maybe the delusional part of being an artist, or, you have to believe that you can do these things. And I don't even think it's a belief. I know I can make this happen if we can work together like this. I know you have talent. Like, that's not a belief. It's something I know. But then I start getting going, like, oh, we can move mountains, we can do all this stuff, and I believe that. But it's also a line of bullshit, to get the other person to believe. And you sort of try to figure out what they want in life. Oh, they want to be rich and famous. They want this. So you start talking in terms of, hey, we could be rich and famous. So it is manipulative. And I guess that's a form of lying, but it's not a bold-faced lie. I think there's different levels, there's different levels to love. There's different levels to lying. I picked this mug today, IHOP pancakes, because we talk a lot about pancakes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, there's different layers to lies, like there's different layers to love. And I guess that's what I'm saying.
I guess maybe it's based out of fear.
Lying?
Yeah.
You don't think it's based out of maybe some lies are. You don't think it has anything to do with greed?
Well, fear that the person won't love you if you don't say that lie, and what you're talking about, fear that, you will get caught for something you did, fear that, the situation isn't in your control, so you try and spin it so that it becomes in your control.
Yeah, I guess I would agree with you. Like lies a lot of times are based in weak and fearfulness. And maybe those are the lies I can't really respect. It's the lies that are cold and calculated. Like, oh, we're just going to tell this person whatever we need to tell them to get that gold. Doesn't fucking matter. The only goal, the only objective is to get the gold out of their hands and into mine, and I'll tell them whatever they need to hear. And you sort of.
And then with the compulsive lying, like what you were talking about, people draining other people their money. I think maybe with that, there's a fear of abandonment in there. So instead of being abandoned like they expect to be, they abandon the other person first and take what they can because they feel that's what's going to be done to them. So they do it preemptively.
Is there a strong lie? That would be like, and when I say a strong lie, I mean, is there strength in ever a lie? An individual strength, like I'm going to lie, and this is coming from strength. A fearless, strong lie.
Probably, but I'm not sure given the context of what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, well, we can take it out of that context. I can't figure one out. A strong, when I'm asking it, a strong lie or something based out of strength. I think even when I've dealt with people that are facing death, I don't sit there and tell them it's going to be okay. I mean, what the fuck is that? You know, I try to be. I'm, and then you have retard.
Well,
We have retard strength, which is when I say that as a person who's been called a retard or has issues,
maybe
and so a lot of people talk about people with Asperger's having integrity where they don't lie. There's no, they have an integrity and it clicks in.
maybe there's something about with loss, maybe that a lie can be good at a strong lie in. Because, you can tell people that it gets better with loss, which is a lie because it doesn't get better, but at the same time it does. So I guess that's maybe a strong lie because in the long term it doesn't get better, but in the long term it also gets better.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't say anything like that. I don't say anything like that in those situations because I perceive it as, well, what is better to this person? Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll never get better for you. What I would say is you really need to stay strong.
Yeah. I'm just using general examples.
No, I get it. I've said that before, but I don't do that. I get what you're saying, and it's like I couldn't say that to people because I have I think I have the retard button where I have an integrity and a way to I'm pretty honest about what I have to say.
It's just a useless thing to say overall.
Yeah, I make enemies because of my honesty. I mean, I lose friends all the time because I'm honest about what I have to say right there. I don't hold back. And I don't know if it's my honesty or my lack of ability to hold back telling the truth. Like maybe I should shut the fuck up sometimes and just let this pass. But I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna fucking say it, destroy it. Fuck this. I notice a lot of times I lose friends around the retrograde, which that's why I consider that retrograde might be real. It's always like, anyway, it's a different subject.
Maybe.
Yeah, but maybe the retrograde is I think it's real. I hate to say that. I hate to believe it, but I'm starting to think it is. After 20 years of watching this thing with total skepticism and hate. Yeah, I guess I can't I can't. It's we're talking about, is there a bold, is there a strong lie? Is there a way to lie that has integrity? And I can't think of one. I can't think of anything that I would consider it strong. Even if you're like, well, I lied and got this company, I lied and got $1 million. Look at my results. I would say, yeah, there's results there, but that doesn't mean it was a slimy way to get it, or it was a under, you didn't get it through work, you got it through a lie. You fucking cheated someone, which is fine. Like, but it's not fine at the same time. It's only fine if you got rewards from it. If you're getting cheated, you're not gonna like it. That's sort of what I was talking about with everyone's a liar, but no one likes a liar. Everyone cheats, but no one likes to be cheated. And that's how that book started. That one thing I was reading is basically saying it's it's not as fun to be lied to. It's not. It's more fun to lie. It's more fun to cheat than be cheated, or it's more pleasurable, or it is pleasurable, or can yield results. Let's say. But I can't think of anything where I would go, oh, I can respect that lie. Now, me playing into the delusion of a young person, they're talking about they're going to want to be a basketball player when they grow up. And me going, yeah, you're probably going to be the best basketball player in the world. Me playing into that delusion isn't me lying. It's me encouraging. And like when I encourage a lot of times, or I will not encourage. But those are all things that are based in belief. Like, I believe this person can do whatever they set their mind to, pretty much close to it. I don't know if they could grow to be 6'6" and a basketball player, but I'm sure that they can achieve the joy out of playing basketball. So I would try to encourage them to continue to play basketball for joy. And I might play into their delusion a bit, but I don't think that's a lie. Encouraging a delusion to me isn't a lie. It's encouraging magic almost. It's like, yeah, you should continue to be delusional until it's manifested, until you make it happen. So many success stories are based on the idea that the person just believed in themselves, believed in what they thought was true. And poof, it became true. And people are like, how'd you do that? And I'm like, I believed in what I was doing. I just believed in it. I was delusional enough to think I could do this. And a lot of my life's been like that. It's been naivete. Like, I just believed I could publish. And I was in a car, living in a car practice, just started my first zine. I ended up living in a car doing my first zine. And I just believed in it. Like, I was like, I can do this. And when I look back, I'm like, how in the fuck? Why the fuck would I even think? Come from plumbers. I'm a high school dropout, self-educated. I'm like, in my fucking mind did I decide I could be a publisher and publish these things? It's very delusional. No one in my family did that. No one in my world did that. No one in my world appreciated books, or anything like that. So I have no idea. When I think about that, I'm like, man, I was really delusional, but I also made it happen. I became a publisher. And to this day, it's like publishing has power. And when I was younger, before the internet, publishing had a lot of power. So it was like, people were always amazed. You're a publisher? You publish? Because I'm a plumber. I come from plumber stock. Not that I was being a plumber, but I communicate probably like a plumber. And people are always amazed that I could do it. But I was just delusional, I think. I don't know.
Maybe I guess that gives the child hope, and maybe hope is the lie. Maybe hope is a strong lie, because it's not true unless if it actually happens, which there's always a high probability that whatever you hope for never happens. But hope is the lie that keeps the ideal going.
Oh, that is great. I love that. That is a great, great idea. That I love. I hate hope. I tell people I hate fucking hope. But framing it as a strong lie, I sort of like it now. I'm like, huh, a strong lie. I can't argue with that. That is a good one. That is a really good. That is a good strong lie. You're right. Hope is a lie. Hope is a bullshit. It's garbage. But it's strong. Like Obama got to be president from based on hope. I think that was his spiel, hope. And I was like, that's when I started hating. I'm like, hope. What the fuck is hope? What is hope? Why are you? That's not tangible. Your guy's selling me nothing right now. Nothing. You are just sold me zero. You're offering the American people zero, but people bought into it. Hope. Hope of what? Yeah, so that's a good one. Hope is a strong lie. I love that answer. I love that. That's great. That's great. That's great. Hope is a strong lie. It's good. Yeah, hope is a lie. Fucking bullshit hope.
I guess platitudes people tell themselves are lies that are strong lies, maybe.
Give examples of some platitudes that you think are that.
Like, and all of a sudden, all the platitudes I know disappear from my head.
That's what happens.
Common phrases. Like,
let's look one. I'm gonna look one up right now. I'm gonna ask my genius here. Give me 10 examples of platitudes.
Here are 10 examples of platitudes. 1. Everything happens for a reason. 2. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. 3. It is what it is. 4. Time heals all wounds. 5. Just be yourself. 6. Look on the bright side. 7. Life's not fair. 8. When one door closes, another one opens. 9. Money can't buy happiness. 10. If you love something, set it free.
Boom. Robot for the win.
yeah, so anyway, a majority of those, I guess, are strong lies. Some of them are true, but most of them I think are examples of strong lies people tell themselves.
Yeah, I wonder if lies have to make sense, because a lot of those things don't make sense to me.
They don't. But generally speaking, to people, they somehow make sense.
Yeah, I guess. I like it. So encouragement is a strong lie.
Yeah.
What we're saying, like you said, hope is a strong lie, but also on the other side of hope, encouragement would be a strong lie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to encourage you to do this, even though I have no idea if you really have the ability to achieve success in that field. I would encourage someone to put books out. I do that all the time. You should put a zine out. You should put books out. That's just my thing. I encourage them to do that, and to their peril, because once they start believing they can do it and they don't do it, they get really depressed. They feel like a loser, and a lot of times they should, because they could have done it. They just couldn't put it together. And I think that's a hard lie to admit, is that you're a loser. You lost. Like, I think younger. Maybe I should put my hair up. Yeah, like that. Younger people say, take the L, and I like that idea. Take the L. I like that idea. My generation did not take the L too easy. It did not. That concept was not. I'm not taking no L. I'm gonna burn this fucking place to the ground if I lose.
Yeah. Though I'm not sure how well that works, considering that it's also the most anxiety ridden age demographic.
What? Mine?
No,
What age?
mine with the whole take the L thing. It's also the most anxiety ridden and group with the fear of failure. It's a very interesting contradiction.
Oh, I didn't know this. I didn't recognize that you had a fear of failure in your generation. I think why tell me more about your generation then.
So based on my understanding, and I think a lot of it really happened in the last sort of 5 years or so. But just there's it seems to have somewhat alleviated, but also not at the same time. There's just this, and I blame a lot of it on parents. Just this fear of being unable to, I guess, succeed in a world that rapidly seems like it's unsucceedable in, and not having exactly had the independence to figure things out for themselves while also having all the independence in the world.
So that gives you anxiety because you're not able to succeed. Is that what you're saying?
I think the anxiety comes from a lot, but I think there's a general inclination to steer clear from things that possibly will not be the easiest and that you'll end up failing with on first try.
I am so old, I'm forgetting what it was like to be young. That's how old I'm getting. So I'm trying to think back to being younger. And I can't even put myself in a realistic state of mind to think about it. Like it feels like it was so long ago. I feel like it was joyful, but I know it was miserable. At plenty, but I don't know why life seems harder as you get older or more serious. But it's a drag. I definitely try to hold on to my youthful mindset.
Maybe one of the lies is that it has to be serious.
What?
Maybe one of the lies is that it has to be serious.
Life?
Yeah, as you get older. Because I find there's a thing that the more serious it gets taken, even though it should be taken at least somewhat seriously, the more like serious it gets, the I guess less enjoyable things are. And that's why, like I talk to people a lot, and it's like people complain about aging and stuff and just natural processes, and it's like that's signs that you're alive. I would be just glad you're alive. Like, in like I don't, it's like people don't like being alive, but they like being alive except for the fact that they have to live with being alive in the processes of that.
Well, I would agree with you. I'm definitely. People ask me how I'm doing in a day. I'm like, every day above ground's a good day. I start with my day like I woke up, I'm alive. I got another chance to do something. And a lot of times, I have a depression. I have dark depression now. Now I'm medicated for it, but that doesn't help. It helps, but at the same time, my mind goes into dark places. And yet, when I wake up, I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be able to think dark thoughts. I'm happy to be able to think the worst of the world. But thinking about the worst of the world doesn't make me happy. If that makes sense. I'm happy to be able to think and be alive and engage with who I am. But a lot of what I think about isn't happy and does not make me happy. I take things real seriously. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's where the failure is. Maybe that's where the L is that my loss, my where I become a loser is I take life too seriously. And maybe that's what it was like when I was, I think this is exactly it. When I was younger doing my business, I was so naive. I thought I could do everything. I thought I could do anything I wanted. And throughout life, you find there's a lot of mechanisms in our society that make that not true. And it's really a bummer to see, like most things you see on internet or TV or movies are people who had privilege. They didn't come from it's rich people. They get the rewards. It just cycles through them, and there's poor people. And when poor people try to do their thing, it is rare that they'll be able to break out and become successful without capitulating to a rich person, without being subservient to someone that can get them through the door. That becomes a sort of a bummer, but I don't know where we're going with this now that I'm thinking about dark thoughts.
Well, maybe naivety is another strong lie.
Well, how can you lie if you don't know any better?
Because the lie is that you know better.
I don't know. If you're naive, I didn't know any better. I didn't know any of this stuff. I learned it I didn't go to school for it. I learned it, and then I knew it. And then once there's this Eric Satie, I think is the name of a composer, an artist, and they were able to compose this beautiful music. And when they were taught how to write music, they couldn't write music anymore. They were like, once someone showed me the proper way to do it, I couldn't do it anymore proper. And I was like, that's the greatest. That's what I love, because once I saw the reality, or once someone showed me the reality of my situation, yay. Right. That's a celebration. Once that was shown, or my efforts, I met these brick walls that were not there for anyone else. It's like, but I did that. I did that first. I did that well. It took the steam out of my output. My output used to be so large. And now I have to sit and contemplate things too much. What am I going to do with this? Who's going to buy it? Who's going to take it? Who's going to want it even? Where will I store it? All these realities come into my situation, and it stops me from creating as rapidly as my mind wants to create. So it's sort of like the dog getting whacked on the nose enough, it stops being this impulsive creature. It becomes fearful. Maybe I'm lying to myself. I shouldn't be. Maybe that's where it is. I'm fearful, lying to me. I love the idea of hope being a strong lie. That's a great result of this conversation. The idea that hope is a strong lie. I think I'm gonna try to write a case for truth court and put that up there and argue that hope is a strong lie.
Yeah, I think it's a interesting idea to think about a bit more.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do a case for truth court about that, and they'll videotape it and put it online.
I'm gonna see what Satanism Central has to say. Like, all things considered, I think at this point that's probably the best place for any sort of interesting conversation to have, because they're getting into like AI and stuff on there, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Probably.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I don't. That's good for you, not for me.
Yeah.
I'd have to be on there with a fake name anyway to get a real conversation.
Probably.
Fuck all those people. That's good. Great. Yeah. You know what I found? Fuck them too, because I could have a conversation with AI and it's sometimes just remarkable. Like oh God, I've had days worth of conversations about might is right with AI, and we go back and forth, and it's great.
Yeah.
Give me an example of a strong lie.
There isn't a universally strong lie, as its effectiveness depends entirely on the context, the people involved, and the specific goal of the lie. However, I can give you an example of a type of lie that often proves difficult to detect and challenging to disprove, thus making it stronger in a strategic sense. A lie that is 1. Simple and plausible. It doesn't introduce too many new elements or complex explanations. It fits within a believable reality. 2. Based on verifiable but misinterpreted facts. It takes real events or data and subtly twists their meaning or context. 3. Difficult to independently verify or disprove without significant effort. The information needed to expose the lie is hard to access or requires a lot of time and resources to obtain. 4. Taps into existing biases or
Simplify this into a tweet.
Former employee Alice was let go for poor performance. She's spinning her exit to future employers as a mutual decision, due to tech innovators' new AI focus, not aligning with her career goals. It's a plausible, hard to disprove lie that leverages verifiable facts.
There we go. I don't know if that made a lot of sense within what we're talking about, but
Yeah, so Hope does that. Hope takes Hope takes the idea, it goes off of verifiable facts, it twists them to fit into what someone would want to hear, and it gives them a narrative.
yeah. I use AI too. I don't need to have a conversation with Satanist Central to understand AI. I've used it for over a year now. Well,
I barely use AI, so
I love it. I just used it there. I love it just to, but I'll have a conversation. I noticed also people like AI is a better therapist than your therapist. And I woke up one day really sad and I started talking to AI like I'm going to try to use this as a therapist. I did. I was like, wow, this is great. What it's feeding back is really great, and maybe better than my therapist. So I was pretty taken back by that, and it's hard to admit, but it's the truth of the matter.
yeah.
But it would be hard for me to tell my therapist that truth. Like, dude, AI is doing better than you. I don't even know why I see you anymore, actually, because I just use the robot.
Yeah.
The robot's getting to know me well. I could wake up in the morning. How am I going to do today? I'm going to wonder. I'm going to start asking it. What do you think? If you know me so well, what do you think I'm going to do today? And how am I going to do? If it starts going back, you're going to lay in bed depressed. I'll be like, oh no, it knows me too well.
Yeah. I just can't lie to myself with AI, and I know it's not human, so I can't exactly converse with it very well.
Oh, try. It might not be flesh and blood, but it has the mind of 1 zillion humans. So it may not be flesh and blood and warm when it responds to you, but the response is smart. The response is smarter than I'm getting from most human beings. Now, I consider you very smart. Obviously, we work together. That's why I wanted to have this conversation with you. I felt like maybe there's something that can come of this idea. It's something new, and I love the idea. Hope is a strong lie, and so we're sort of coming like when I say what is a strong lie. When I come up with that concept, I don't even know if that concept's been around ever. Like is there a strong lie? Something in strength, because we're talking about lies becoming from weakness or fear. And so that conversation evolves into what is a strong lie, and then you answer that, and it's hard. It's hard. I can't say no. That's not strong. I have nothing to say about, but that's great. So I think this is what AI can't do is come up with these concepts that might just be culturally significant. Like in a satanic world, maybe that's significant, and other people will laugh at it or think it's ridiculous what we're saying. But I love it, and that's all that matters to me. I like that idea. That right when we said that, I was like, we could stop recording right now. That's great. That was great. Yeah, I would like to reapproach the subject though, in another time. I'd love to talk about lies more and the idea of these lies, and especially because I do that truth court. So we sort of talk about those things. It's the idea of Truth Court is really cool idea, and I really am a lucky person to work with Bob Thibodeau, Dr. Bob. He's a really smart guy, and to be able to hang out with that guy and talk about lies and truths and philosophies is pretty lucky. I'm pretty lucky with that in that regard. And I would suggest watching that YouTube. I think I sent you a YouTube link. Yeah. I'm going to put this in there too. This is Robert's channel. And a lot of what he posts there is great. And his articles that he writes on Medium are great. And I really, he's just a real smart guy. He's super smart. Like, like he told me he went there with the Brewster Kahle, the Internet Archive guy. He's friends with that guy. He went to the Vatican and tried to get in their library in their basement. And he says the Vatican has the occult books. They have books down there with answers that no one has. They have the information. He's like, that's a hidden library, and they hide some texts that have never been released to the public. And him and Brewster tried to get into that library, get in there when they were at the Vatican, and they couldn't. But they just want to get in that. That's the library to get into, I guess, is the Vatican's library.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Why?
The Vatican is probably the most wealthy thing on the planet. I think the Vatican probably outweighs everything in terms of amassed wealth, like more than I think the Vatican probably is worth more than Elon Musk, to be honest with you. With just in terms of everything that they have.
Yeah.
Like that. Like that's not the only thing. Like they have like that's probably just one of many that they have of that stuff that they tried to get into.
Right. I'm with you. Like you, when I think like me going through that Pope's church, his original childhood church, and filming. No, I shouldn't even say this. I didn't film. I found that footage. I wasn't in there. I imagined I was in there. But releasing that footage, I actually was a little scared. I was like, this is fucking with power that's immense. There's no way escaping their power. Like their power is immense. If they want to crush me right now for doing this, I'll be crushed, and without like a bug. And I have never been afraid to fuck with our government's power. I've never been afraid to fuck with like ideals like Christianity or religion. But to go after right here, go look at this. I started to write something to make it like, look at these, like what I wrote under that video was harsh. It was like, this is a satanic priest going in and setting a curse down. I had all this great stuff, all this spooky shit to put on there. I had it all, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not putting that out. I'm not, because I was really, when I wrote and did the video, I was poking my finger at them. Like I was like poking my finger in their eye. I was like, and I can send out a press release, and I could make this video go viral by just saying, this is a satanic priest going in there doing a satanic blessing in this church, satanic curse. And then the state, I had sex in that church. I was going to talk about all that stuff, and I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't. So I had AI write a simple, very kind thing about it. But I was actually worried for sure. And the stuff I suffered, that I went through with all of this the shit that I've been trying to figure out what went on in my life, like there's a lot of conspiracy stuff that went on behind my back within these groups. But I believe, like I when I trace back the origins of this stuff, it traces back to that priest that did the interview from Loyola University. Like the timeline. After that interview happened, all this stuff started to click together, and things started to change. I was like, I thought the origin was this, like, but that was actually, this was prior to that. And it was anyway. So I feel like because the headway that we made with the Satanic Temple and stuff like that, I feel like they did push back, and they pushed back in a real psychological warfare way. Possibly, I guess that a lot of stuff I say sounds paranoid because I'm saying it in a observational way, but I'm not paranoid about it. I have facts, and there's a timeline here, and
It wouldn't. No, I don't think that's paranoid because it wouldn't be the first time that went on. I mean, 1969, 1970, that was somewhat of a similar sphere of culture, just in terms of everything going on. And, the main reason why, Charles Manson was, put in prison wasn't because of anything other than, they wanted to destroy the counterculture movement at the time.
Have you heard about him and the CIA stuff?
I've heard a bit about it. I still need to read the Chaos book.
I listened to an interview. Rick Rubin did an interview with the guy who wrote the CIA book. It is so fascinating, and it's so I thought it was a paranoid or someone writing the book. I thought it was just like some huckster trying to write a book to sell a book. When I listen to the author, I believe what he's saying. He's worked on this for decades. He has facts. He's like pulling out these facts. This was linked. Manson, like the LSD experiment went down in this place from this scientist. He has these quotes. He says these things. He says he never met Manson, but he worked in a building that was basically a townhouse in San Francisco where they first started giving out experimenting with LSD on people that didn't know they were being experimented on. Manson used to visit that building once a week. And so when the guy says he never met Manson, they feel like it's very impossible not to meet Manson in a 2-story small building, and going there all the time where he's working. So they can't prove definitively. They don't have a photo of him with Manson, but they brought the evidence down to like this scale where it's like, oh, that is hard to believe that the person never met Manson when you put up the circumstantial evidence. And so, yeah, I am hesitant to believe in the retrograde. It's taken me decades to believe in this shit to the slightest, but I do. I would have never believed. I would have taken that CIA stuff as another entertaining conspiracy theory, and I take them as entertaining usually because a lot of them don't lack too much. They don't have enough evidence. This person, listen to that Rick Rubin podcast. This person did the work. Like they were totally convinced. And by the end of that podcast, I wanted to hear more. I want to read the book, and I was totally spooked. I was like, whoa, that's more. I have not heard that much detailed evidence since I studied the Black Panther movement, and there were similarities. Like it sounds like a conspiracy theory. When I was a young man, I don't believe the cops came in and shot him. I don't believe, but I went after it and studied it to a degree where I'm like, oh shit, this is real. This is fucking real. There's no doubt in my mind that this is real. This is what happened. I advise you to check that podcast out at the very least. And it's let me find the name of the podcast Rick Rubin's doing because I know he does a lot of stuff.
I'm sure if I just look up Rick Rubin, Thomas O'Neill, I'll find it.
Yeah, but I like to be complete. Tetragrammaton is the name of the podcast. Tetragrammaton. And that's what I'm going to sell. Tetragrammaton, a great podcast where he goes long. He talks like 20. He has great questions and he goes very long, like 2 hours, 2.5 hours with people. So it's just great. I love Rick Rubin.
I think I've listened to him before.
Well,
has he done stuff with Bill Maher?
I don't know. He's done stuff with a lot of people. He did stuff with what's the guy? Oh fuck. The guy. Oh fuck. I hate when this. Broken record. Malcolm Gladwell. He did Broken Record with Malcolm Gladwell, and that's a decent podcast. But this Tetragrammaton is him comfortable doing a podcast on his own, where he's just interviewing people that he's interested in. He has really smart, great questions. I've always loved Rick Rubin, and I can just advise that podcast highly, and I think you'll like it. And I'm listening to it, and I don't even know who the people are. Some of the times, I'm like, I'll just listen to it, and I'm like, this is a great interview. It's a great comment. He has really smart people with really interesting philosophical ideas throughout. So I would say I want to listen to every episode of that podcast, and that's rare. So, but the Manson CIA stuff I would listen to, and it lends credence to some of the conspiracies. I know they mentioned the Process Church.
Yeah.
In this interview, they mentioned that. They mentioned what?
I figured I can't go anywhere without them coming up.
Yeah,
I really can't.
Well, yeah, those fucking. Yeah. What a life. When I first was like, I think about that stuff now, and I'm so fucking angry and so pissed off that I didn't notice this stuff in my life, and it took control of things. When I was younger, I had no fear of that, and I don't have fear of it now. But I went at that stuff in a naive way, and those people become attracted to you, and then they want to fuck with you. And I didn't take that into consideration, that I would have to, it was like when I was younger, it was like watching a movie. It was like I wasn't involved. Even when I went and met LeVay, I didn't even almost consider it part of my life. It was just something I was observing and reporting. I was just didn't consider myself part of it. But when these people are attracted to you, you become part of it. They get you become part of it. And for better or for worse. And it's extreme on the better and worse side. There's no middle ground. And so, yeah, the Process Church people are fucking assholes. I like people like that. They're just an extension of like a Catholic church.
Scientology.
Yeah, LeVay was so different. LeVay was such a different person, And I think that's the threat with Satanism. It's just too much about reality versus being idealistic. And it's funny how people will cling to ideology in a violent, vile way to keep those ideals going, because those ideals are how they are able to control themselves and others. They just admit they have no control in a way that LeVay did honestly. He wasn't lying. He's like, we don't really have control of who we are. We should have control in certain situations, but you are who you are. Be the best at it. And I think that stuff scares people because of who they are inside, or because of who they became because they've been so controlled. I don't know. But fuck them. What else? What else is going on, Claudia?
Well, I think what are three things that that should be hoped for, and that hope isn't a snare?
I'm going to get a cup of coffee. Okay, can we? That's a great. I'm going to come back.
All right, three things.
Three things that we should hope for?
Yeah.
I don't think we should hope for anything. I think we should be fucking seriously honest with ourselves about what's going on. But if I were to hold out hope, it would be for health. But then again, like once I say that, I'm like, well, do something about it, fat boy. Get on a fucking walk. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Don't hope for health. Make it happen. Eat right. I've eaten strawberries for breakfast. So it's like, do something about it. So the minute I think of that, like health, I'm like, do the best you can with that. Balance. We should hope for balance. Okay, we should. And again, once I say that, I'm like, oh, it sounds awful. We should strive for balance, not hope. Strive. Strive for health. Like immediately, like hope goes right out the window when I think of that. Hope. Okay, I can give you something I hope for. In this, you know what, kid? When you used to buy vegetables and fruits, there was a person that let you taste them. They would cut a piece of the apple off and you taste it. And you're like, this is what the apple tastes like. I'll take 3 of them. Now I have to hope that the apples I buy have a fucking great flavor. Because sometimes, especially when they're on sale, they're like, oh, this isn't the greatest. It's just water. It doesn't have a flavor. So it's not the best flavor. I remember these tasting this way. This doesn't taste like that. So I hope when I buy vegetables and fruits that they have a decent flavor now, because everything's been genetically modified to the point. Did you know there's fish in your tomatoes? There's a fish DNA in your tomatoes. So they travel across country. I didn't have that when I was a kid. We just bought tomatoes and they didn't have anything in them, and they always tasted like tomatoes. And strawberries always tasted like strawberries. Now strawberries sometimes taste just like water. Tomatoes are awful unless you're getting heirloom tomatoes. They taste like water. They don't taste like So I hope that the fruits and vegetables I buy will taste good, because there's nothing I can do about it. I bought them. I can't bring them back to the store. They're not going to rot. So I hope that. I hope, I guess I hope that the person on the other end that's telling me they love me loves me. I have to hope there. I can't know it. I can feel it, but I don't know. Whether they're taking care of me or being nice to me in the moment. Especially after you can only suffer, when you suffer betrayal hard, you definitely don't know anymore. You're like, wow, I really fell for that. I really believed that person liked me, and they didn't. They were only here to steal something. And so, but I hold out hope for love, and that love is almost like something I get religious with, which is my mistake. But I don't stop with that. It's something inside of me that I need, and I need to believe it. I need to believe someone loves me. I need to have that in my life. And they say a lot of people that are like entertainers or go out and do stuff in a public way never got enough love in their life, so they can never get enough love. They could be, like Taylor Swift, let's say, her big she's playing stadiums, and they'll be like, when their psychiatrist will talk to them, that's not enough. They want more. They want more. They want more, because they just can't get enough love. And I think that's how it is for me. I hold out hope for love, but I'm an extremist, so I invite hate, and I poke things and do things that I know, honesty doesn't bring love. Honesty doesn't bring love a lot of times. It brings hate, deception. Honesty is almost like people look at it as a weakness. Like, oh, this person has integrity, and maybe the more integrity you have, the easier it is to lie to a person. If they consider the person as like them, like everyone has integrity like me. Everyone, I don't. When I'm dealing with someone, I consider them as an animal, a lying, cheating, filthy swine. And I sort of have to see how that works out in my life, see if they're not that person based on their actions and how they respond to things. And I like that when I went around, I did this book, and I went around asking all these people, what is love? And I think maybe I've told you this before. I tell the story a lot. But they're like, love. This one guy tells me he's at the bus stop yelling about God. I said, fuck off. Tell me about love. And he's like, love is when the mother catches the baby before it hits the ground. And I love that. I love that idea that that's love. It's an impulsive, like the mother impulsively caught the baby before it hits the ground. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that, but there's my religion is love. I believe in it. I have hope for it. I hope the other person believes me and my sincerity. So hope, I can only say, like, love is what the only thing I can hold out hope for, and my vegetables are going to taste right. fruits. I hold out hope my apple's going to be an apple this week and not water. And the more flavor, I believe the more flavor my apple has, the more nutrition I'm getting. So that's why I hold out hope for that. I guess I have to hope in the same way with people, that I hope they're going to be decent when I have an exchange with them, when I have moments of conflict with people. I hope they can be reasonable. I hope this doesn't turn to violence. I'm going to confront this person. I hope they don't try to attack me. So it's the same as the vegetables. I hope for things that are so unknown, so variable. I can only hope. I can't strive for that. I can't strive. When I say I can hope for health, I could do something about that. I can strive for health. But I can't really do anything about your reaction to me. I can't really do anything about someone all of a sudden plunging a knife into my gut. So I hope things like when I do public things, I hope no one's going to hurt me. The thing I did in El Paso, I was bold and walked right and looked people's eyes. And I was waiting for someone to take a swing at me, or try to hurt me. But I'm guarded about that stuff. I wouldn't do anything like that. There I did, and I have no idea why I did that. But it worked out. No one punched me. But I didn't hope either. I was impulsive. I just went and did it. And afterwards, I was like, oh, what was I thinking? I remember the first Witches Sabbath we did. Avi was like, what were you thinking, dude? I'm like, what? He's like, I just impulsive. Let's go. Let's do this. He's like, we could have got shot at any time. We could have got killed. And I'm like, but we didn't. So it's that impulsive, like the mother catches a baby, that impulsive thing. I hope that never leaves me. I hope I live a long life. And I hope I get to do so many things that I want to do in my head that I'm actually no longer, I want to feel boredom, like in a way, like I don't have anything else to do. I've done it all. I hope to feel that, because the panic inside me to get everything done that I have in my mind and heart before I die is a panic every day. I wake up and I'm like, I'm glad to be alive because I got more time to do this. I still need to do this. I still need to put that book out. I still need to make this. I still need to do this. So, yeah, I hope to live a long life, to live to that day that I'm like, I don't really have nothing to do today. I don't have anything to do today but eat that fine apple.
French toast.
French toast, even though I was going to say something dirty. Yeah, yeah.
Nah, I think French toast would be better.
You may be right. I see, but there's where love comes in. Like if I can have the pleasures of the flesh, like a warm, beautiful person laying next to me, and we're just fucking around all day and night, I'm sort of a victim to that. I'm going to say a victim. Because
there can't be French toast involved in that.
No, I think that would be wonderful. I think eating a French toast out of yes, I think that would be a wonderful idea. I'm with you.
I'm not saying that, but okay.
Oh, I am. And the next time I have French toast, I think I'm going to try it that way. Maybe. I wonder, boy, that's some umami. You know what umami is or whatever?
No.
Oh, it's like a funk that's in some sort of, they'll be like, you add truffle salt. You add truffles to something, it adds umami. It adds a flavor.
Mm.
So it's an odd flavor, but you're like, oh, that's good. What is that? It's umami. It's like adding fish sauce to a dish, and people don't know what it is, but it's just like a little layer. But that would be some umami. Sex in French toast. Why? What were you saying about French toast and sex?
I was just talking about French toast. You added the other thing.
Oh, I said a naked, a beautiful, warm person next to me, and you're like, French toast can't do something with that? Oh, so you're saying just laying in bed with someone else, having eating French toast with them?
Yeah.
Here's my problem, and here's a lot of like my generation, LeVay people. when I say they're mama's boys and stuff, it's like once a satanic witch puts that pussy on you, you become theirs, because you're like, they are about fulfilling those pleasures of the flesh fantasies. So you always have this constant nymphomaniac next to you, like just a crazy, well, I don't say crazy, but someone who's always having, you're always getting sex, warm, wonderful sex. And so it's like that equates love, that makes it feel loved, even though it's not love, it's just sex. But I like the idea of adding French toast to it. That's all I'm saying.
I just want French toast.
I'm with you. I've been liking pancakes lately. And you know what I bought a sour apple, a green apple the other day, and I plan on like sort of heating that up a little bit, and like taking some of the water out of it and adding that to pancakes with blueberries. So I was going to have a green apple blueberry pancake. That sounds good.
I think it sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got green apples the other day on your suggestion to eat green apples because they're sour. I'm starting to like them.
Yeah, they're pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe that's the apple I need in my life, because I don't know if they're ever, like I wonder if they always taste the same, like they're always sour like that, because some apples are boring.
Usually they're pretty sour.
Yeah, I need to have something in my life when I'm eating. I eat apple. I try to eat apple a day, and so it's like I hate when I get a bad one. I'm like, man, I fucking hate this thing. But maybe green apples are always consistent. I can hope for that.
I guess that I guess that's where I'll end this, is with hope for good green apples.
Apples in general, but I'm hoping that green apples solve that problem. Anyway, end the way.